Chapter 9, Lesson 2. We're continuing from Lesson 1. It's pretty much the same thing, only now there's a little bigger numbers. They still don't have to reduce, they just have to rename so they can get the fraction and then subtract. And the only difference with Lesson 2 is there's a few numbers that are a little bit bigger, but nothing changes. You're just subtracting. So here we have 10 minus 8 and 4/9. So we're going to rename the 10 to a 9. And then our new fraction is going to be 9/9. Because again, we're taking this denominator here and just putting it up there for our new fraction. So your problem is 9 and 9/9 minus 8 and 4/9. 9 minus 4 is 5. Denominator stays the same. 9 minus 8 is 1. 1 and 5/9 would be your answer. Okay, here's the bigger number I'm talking about. The whole numbers are bigger. Fractions, not so much. Later they might have a few, but it's just the whole numbers. And usually they see big numbers and they kind of get scared of them, but they're just doing the same thing, taking one away and subtracting. So 45, we're going to rename this to 44. This fraction is going to become 7/7 because we're taking this denominator and making it my new numerator and denominator. 7 minus 5 is 2. 7 is still the denominator. And 44 minus 11 is 33. So 7 minus 5 is 2. Okay, we're subtracting the numerators and the denominator stays the same. And then subtract the whole numbers and get 33 and 2/7. So here's one that I'm talking about where we have two big whole numbers. And you can see that that fraction 9/20 is also a little bit bigger, which is going to make our new fraction bigger as well. So the same thing as we've been doing. We're going to rename 62 and make that a 61. And my new fraction is going to be 20/20. Because again, we're using this denominator to make up my new fraction. You're just going to subtract. 20 minus 9 is 11. Denominator stays the same. And 61 minus 18 is 43. Again, with 61 minus 18, you'll probably have to do this type of problem and rename and borrow from the 6. 11 minus 8 is 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. So just use that concept to get your answer for the bigger whole numbers. So Lesson 1 and Lesson 2 are pretty similar, only in Lesson 2 your numbers are a little bigger. So for number 1, we have 9 minus 7 and 1/14. I know the whole number is kind of right above the fraction, but that is not a fraction. That is just 9 minus 7 and 1/14. So what we've been doing, rename the 9 and make that an 8. My new fraction is going to be 14/14, because again, this denominator tells us what to do with what to make our new fraction. 14 minus 1 is 13. Denominator stays the same. 8 minus 7 is 1. So my answer for number 1 is 1 and 13/14. I'm not going to, so I can fit it here. So 1 and 13/14, this is number 1. Number 3, 7 minus 2 and 5/8. And the students should be doing all their work on a separate sheet of paper. There's not enough room for them to do the work in their book. It gets really messy and they put the wrong numbers, or when it's being corrected by another student, they can't see what the answer is. So they know that they need to put the answer in the book, and their work should be shown on another piece of paper. So 7 minus 2 and 5/8. It's going to become a 6. My new fraction is going to be 8/8. 8 minus 5 is 3. The denominator stays the same, and 6 minus 2 is 4. So the answer for number 3 is 4 3/8. And still, there's no reducing that they need to do. So it's just subtracting the numbers, renaming the whole number, getting a new fraction, and subtracting. So they do not have to reduce in lesson 1 or lesson 2. This is where they'll have some problems when they see some bigger fractions. But nothing changes. You just use the same steps to get your answer. So 5 minus 4 3/25. Going to rename the 5 to be a 4. My new fraction is going to be 25 over 25. 25 minus 3 is 22 over 25. 4 minus 4 is 0. So your answer for number 9 is 22 over 25. They may want to try to reduce it, but 2 does not go into 25, 5 does not go into 22, so that is your answer. So hopefully this will help. Continue to use your notes and use this video as much as needed, and stay tuned for lesson 3.